The Alchemist is a masterpiece of Paulo Coelho that covers the importance of pursuing your personal legend. This book is broken into a number of themes, from the language of the universe to trusting omens and listening to your heart. Assalamu alaikum everyone, how is it going? My name is Asad and welcome to the channel. आज हम बात करेंगे इस बुक के बारे में, The Alchemist. The Alchemist is one of the most successful and a masterpiece of Paulo Coelho. In this book is a story about the journey of a boy named Santiago who meets with a gypsy, a king, an Englishman, his love, and the alchemist in the pursuit of his personal legend. तो आज इस वीडियो में हम इस बुक की समरी को डिस्कस करेंगे और वो लेसन जो हम इस बुक से सीख कर अपने लाइफ में इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं. This book is worth reading and is going to have a very positive impact on your life. And most importantly, if you are someone who wants to know your personal legend and want to know how the universe supports you in your way of success, then you must give it a try. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So the Alchemist tells the story of a young shepherd named Santiago who is able to find a treasure beyond his wildest dreams. Along the way, he learns to listen to his heart and, more importantly, realizes that his dream or his personal legend are not just his but part of the soul of the universe. Santiago is a humble shepherd whose desires are few. He wants to be free to roam with his sheep, to have some wine in his wineskin and a book in his bag. Fate intervenes, however, in the form of the recurring dream of a great treasure hidden thousands of miles away at the base of the Egyptian pyramids. When Santiago meets Alchemist, a strange wise man who claims he is a king from a far land, he decides to seek his treasure. The next day, Santiago sells his sheep and embarks to Africa to pursue his dream. Upon arriving in Africa, though it becomes apparent that things will not be as easy as he thought. The first day Santiago is in Teniger, he is robbed and left completely alone. Unable to speak a single word of Arabic, at first Santiago contemplates giving up and turning around. He remembers the word of the wise man, though, and decides to carry on, getting a job at a local crystal shop. After working at the crystal shop for a year, learning much about life and about his personal legend, Santiago earns enough money to buy a new flock of sheep and return home. At the last minute, Santiago thought and decided to risk it all and join the caravan to Egypt. Once in the caravan, Santiago meets an Englishman who has come all the way to Africa to seek a renowned alchemist. As they travel through the desert, the Englishman tells Santiago about the secrets of alchemy. Santiago finds the Englishman's ideas to be very similar to Melchizedek. They both speak of a soul of the world to which we are all connected and of the necessity of following our heart's true desires or our personal legend. Santiago, however, prepares to learn the secret by observing the world, while the Englishman prepares to learn from the complex books. While they travel, they begin to hear rumors of a coming tribal war. When they finally arrive at the Al-Fayoum oasis, the home of the titular alchemist, Santiago meets a beautiful girl named Fatima, with whom he immediately falls in love. He discovered that love, like the personal legend, comes directly from the soul of the world. While walking in the desert, Santiago has a vision of an upcoming battle. He rushes back to warn the elders at the oasis, and when his vision is confirmed, they offer him a position as a counselor. Santiago considers staying at the oasis with Fatima, but the alchemist finds Santiago and tells him that he will lead Santiago to his treasure. Once again on the move, the alchemist teaches Santiago to listen to his heart. Hearts can be treacherous, but the best way to keep them from fooling you is to listen to them intently. Almost to the pyramid, Santiago and the alchemist are taken prisoner by a warring tribe. The alchemist tells the tribesmen that Santiago is a powerful magician who can turn himself into the wind. The tribesmen are impressed and will spare the lives of the men if Santiago can do it. The only problem is that Santiago has no idea what he is doing. After 3 days of meditating, Santiago uses his knowledge of the soul of the world to ask the elements to help him. First, he asked the desert, then he asked the wind, then he asked the sun, and finally he asked the soul of the world. Immediately the wind whipped up and Santiago disappeared and reappeared on the other side of the camp. The alchemist takes his leave of Santiago, who continues on to the pyramids. Once there, Santiago is attacked by robbers, asks what he is doing there. Santiago replies that he had a dream of a treasure buried at the base of the pyramids. One of the robbers laughs at him and says that he has had the exact same dream, except that in his the treasure was buried in Spain. Santiago realizes that the treasure was back in Spain the entire time. The story then jumps forward in time and finds Santiago digging a hole at the base of the tree where he had had his first dream. Sure enough, he finds a trunk full of gold enough for him and Fatima to live happily for a long time. तो सबसे पहला लेसन जो हम इस बुक से सीख सकते हैं वो है To realize one's personal legend is only a person's real obligations. All things are one, and when you want something, the whole universe helps you to make it happen for you. We all have personal legend. There are certain things we want to accomplish in our life, and there are signs in the universe that are helping us to achieve that if you pay attention. So if you have a dream, if you want something to do in your life, and there is a certain change you want to make, you have to go for that. And this whole universe is going to help you in achieving that thing for you. The second very important lesson we can learn from this book is every blessing ignored becomes a curse. These are the words said by the crystal merchant to Santiago as Santiago prepares to leave Tanagar after an extremely successful year working at the crystal shop. He knows that he has not achieved all he can in life and feels depressed as a result. The crystal merchant serves as a warning to Santiago that those who ignore their personal legend in favor of settling into material comforts always feel hunted by their untapped potential. This idea reoccurs throughout the book, and the complacency that the crystal merchant represents serves as a near constant danger for Santiago. Santiago nearly goes back to Spain after leaving Tanagar, for instance, and he hesitates to leave the Al-Fayoum oasis for the pyramid because he already has Fatima and some wealth there. The Alchemist, for instance, describes how Santiago's life would unfold if he remained at the oasis rather than live out his personal legend. Santiago and Fatima would be happy for some time, but gradually Santiago would begin to regret not seeking out his personal legend, while Fatima would feel that she caused Santiago to abandon his dream. Eventually, Santiago would no longer be able to read omens, and he would ultimately lose touch with the soul of the world. The third very important lesson we can learn from this book is you will never be able to escape from your hurt. So it's better to listen to what it has to say. We can lie to everyone, but not to our inner self. Our conscience will always follow our actions. There is a famous saying that once burnt is twice shy. Thus, someone who did not care to value his life and heed to the direction of his hurt will surely live his entire life in a state of discomfort and regret. A sense of failure will accompany him or her. This is because we cannot cheat our own selves. We should bother to give away to our dreams and also make them capable enough to gather wings from the fast and fly. The next lesson we can learn from this book that it's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting. How many of us appreciate the fact that we have the choice to make a dream come true? Better yet, how many of us take advantage of the freedom to carry out our passion and live the way we wish? When you begin to think about the idea of making a dream come true for yourself or someone else, something happens. Suddenly, when you focus on a goal or an end game, the universe seems to conspire with us to make things happen. It may take time, but nonetheless, if we keep at it, we can be successful. The final lesson we can learn from this book is that there is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. All of our hopes and dreams will never be achieved if we are afraid to fail. Why? Because fear keeps us stuck. Fear keeps us from ever leaving the starting point. A horse that doesn't set foot on the track is certainly never going to cross the finish line, let alone win the race. Don't be afraid. You may fail, but that's okay. Find comfort and courage in the promise that each failure, great or small, is not a stumbling block. Rather, it's a stepping stone moving us one step closer to the life we desired most. So that's all from me about The Alchemist. Read this book and tell me about it in the comment section below. Till next time, take care and Allah Hafiz.